Sometimes everything just falls apart. Sometimes things just go to what I would say hell in a handbasket. And oftentimes we will find ourselves saying, God, are you here? Right? Remember that book, Are You There, God? It's me, Margaret. Sometimes I'll be like, Are you there, God? It's me, right? It's me, Jessica. It's a TikTok sound. And I'm just like, God, I don't really know what is going on. And today I want to have a conversation of how to trust God when everything falls apart. So, welcome back to the show where we're always being honest and transparent. As you know, this is just me being me. If you have no idea what I was talking about at the beginning of the episode with them little sounds, those are sounds from TikTok. My TikTok people know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, anywho, we're talking about what to do, like how to trust God when everything falls apart. And first things first, I will say it is normal that if everything is falling apart, that you feel like God has left you. You feel abandoned, rejected, unprotected. It is normal to feel disappointment with God. It is normal to feel upset with God. It is normal to have real feelings. And real feelings are happy, sad, angry, mad, glad. All those are real feelings. So whether this is a conversation with God or it's with a person, you get to have real feelings, okay? And anybody that tells you you can't, run, okay? Because Jesus came to earth as a person, right? And so you are a person. And those feelings you're having right now are normal, okay? Listen, but I am going to help you to normalize your feelings, but also start getting to the other side, okay? But we can't get to the other side if we don't first acknowledge how you really feel, okay? Now, what I will say is I did not know that it was okay to have these feelings about God, okay? So when I was going through divorce, I was mad at God and I was saying some things and stuff to my best friend only. And one of the things she said to me is that, Keenya, God can handle your temper tantrum. I was like, what? She said, God can handle your temper tantrum. It's okay to feel how you feel. Tell him. Don't hold it back. Tell him. And at first I thought he was going to turn me into a pillar of salt because I had a lot of feelings. I was cursing, curse word feelings. But I was like, well, if God is my God, then I need to be able to be raw, real, and uncut and honest about how I'm feeling. And so I let God have it. When I say I let God have it, I let God have it, right? And did I feel guilty about it? Yeah, of course I did. But I felt better getting it out than acting like I didn't feel that way. And what started to happen is he started to comfort me. He started to say, well, how else do you feel? And how else do you feel? Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. And it was weird to do that, but it felt good to get it out. And I remember him having me journal my feelings too, right? And I felt good. And I remember like a year later, maybe 2 years later, God, he had asked me, what do you want to have happen to your ex-husband? I was like, I want him to be blessed and highly favored. He said, no, you don't. You want really bad things to happen to him. And I remember looking around the house being like, yes, I do. But life and death is in the power of the tongue, so let me not say it, right? And so I wrote down all of these mean, bad things that I wanted to have happen to my ex-husband. He goes, great. Now that you're honest, I can help you. I was like, what? Like, you literally want me to say all this bad stuff? And what I realized that it wasn't the bad stuff, it was what it was doing in me when it was staying in there. I was harboring all that in here. It wasn't helping me to heal, right? And so when I think about everything falling apart, to hell in a handbasket, I feel like if you don't voice those feelings to God, it's just doing things in you that you don't even know it's doing to you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what aspect this is of your life where you're dealing with all of that happening right now, right? But what I do know is that he can handle it, right? And I do know that he wants you to relinquish all of what's happening from you to him. Now you're still dealing with it, but he's like, I want the pressure and the anxiety and all those things to be taken from you and given to me, right? And I want you to trust me in the process, right? I'll give you an example. It's currently happening. Got a letter from the IRS, and they said, we revoked your passport because you owe back taxes. I was like, what? I thought I was on a payment plan. And they were like, well, we were waiting for the taxes from 2022. And I'm like, I sent those to you. I don't understand. What do you mean? And they were like, well, whatever. I'm going on a cruise. I leave on October 12th. And they were like, well, it's going to take 21 days from when we get that to process to take care of this. I am like, what am I going to do? Right? So I felt very anxious and I said, wait, file, send it, and pray. That's all I can do is file, send it, and pray. And ask God, am I going to make the cruise? If he says no, then I need to go ahead and cancel things now, right? If he says yes, then I have to keep planning for the cruise and not being anxious. But as everything falling apart technically right now, yeah, okay, yeah. But I'm like, I gotta just ask him and talk to him. Like I haven't asked him yet, right? I'm gonna ask him when we hang up, right? But I'm reminded that if I don't give it to him, and if I don't at least try to trust him, I'm going to hem myself up. I'm going to hurt myself more than I'm going to help myself, right? And so you've got some things in your life that is just falling to pieces, right? And you get this amazing opportunity to acknowledge how you feel, tell him all those feelings you're feeling as often as you want to. Like it doesn't have to be once, it has to be twice, as often as you want to, okay? And you get to call on him and pray and say, God, help me. You may not be able to help. You may not be helping me with all of this right now, but can you help me with just this, right? So it's like when everything's going wild, right? I've learned that it's like all that's not going to be fixed overnight. But what is the one thing I can do right now? What is the one thing I can believe you for to help me with right now? Right? So if you got all these bills and you need money for groceries, right? It's like, God, can somebody invite me to dinner tonight? Can you give me something tonight? Can I find $20 tonight? The bigger thing is you need groceries for the week, but it's like, God, can you send somebody to my house right now that just says, girl, you want to go out to eat? I'm buying, right? Or you go into a coat pocket and there's $20. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you just believe for that? And then the next day is for something else. And then it's something else. And then it's something else. Right? Because one of the things I know about being in tough times is like, I have to go from little faith to little faith to little faith. Right? Just little moments. Little moments. It's going to take me to big moments. You know what I'm saying? That's like I just posted something on social media that I've been saying this for a little while, that I want to go to New York for the first time, but I want somebody else to buy the flight and the hotel. Somebody else is going to fly me there, but I don't have to do it. And it's just my faith letting God do something that I would love to have happen and just putting it out there. Because one of my bigger things is I want somebody to fly me on an international trip, hotel, flight. I want somebody to fly me to Paris and da, right? And so I said, there's this little thing I used to do with putting my faith out there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this out on social media and tell everybody what I'm believing God for. And it's just a little thing, right? It's just a little thing that I'm doing to take me back to because I used to have really big faith and all this stuff, and life has been life. And I'm like, okay, let's just take ourselves on one little journey. And one little journey for me is like, okay, because I still have big faith, but I'm like, let's just go on the journey with New York and just put it out there and tell the world that God's going to do it. And I'm going to update them when it happens. Because I used to always do that. I mean, oh my God, I used to do that all the time. And I'm like, okay, so let's get back to that, because I want him to do it. I know he can do it, but I haven't seen him do it in a while, stuff like that in a while. So I'm like, okay, right? And I want you to give yourself permission to go on that journey while everything has and is falling apart. Because he's the God, he knows what's going on. I don't know why he allowed it, but he did. But he wants to take you on a little step by step journey if you will let him.